Welcome to Retirement Rescue Radio, a show specifically designed to help retirees and pre-retirees maximize their financial efficiency so you can live the retirement lifestyle you've always imagined. Your host is Nate Miller, investment advisor representative and author of the CPR Retirement Rescue Roadmap. Nate discusses thoughts and ideas from some of today's most knowledgeable professionals in the field of finance. He offers strategies along the way to help you make better financial decisions so you can maximize your retirement. This is Retirement Rescue Radio.
Well, hey there, Retirement Rescue Radio listeners. I'm your host, Nate Miller, and we've got a very special episode today. It's that time of year again, New Year's resolutions, or as I like to call them, goals. I don't like setting resolutions. I like setting goals because, the statistics say that there's only about 46% of the people that set New Year's resolutions that actually achieve them. So less than half of the people that set them don't. And so I want to set goals because once you set a goal, well, then you can actually have certain steps in order to hit that goal that you can set up. And we're actually going to go through some of the things that you can do to help those New Year's resolutions / goals be more successful. And not only that, we're going to go through like the top 10 most common New Year's resolutions and how to follow through on them. And then also we're going to go through, as we're going through those, we're going to go through some of the goals that I have set for 2022 and the process that I use to help make those successful. So first off, we're going to go through the list. The top 10. Every year, millions of people are making New Year's resolutions, hoping that they're going to have some kind of a change in their life. And there's a lot of them that are reoccurring pretty much every single year. And health and fitness are always right up at the top. Matter of fact, the number one is exercise more. Number two is lose weight. Those are both exercise focused. And I'm also going to say that those are horrible goals. Those are horrible goals. And you'll find out here in a little while why they're horrible goals. Because you cannot measure those. Well, you can measure them, but it's not specific enough. Like exercise more. What's more, right? If you're exercising 0 times, well, 1 time a week is more, but that's not going to have any lasting change. If 2 times a week is what you're trying to do, yeah, it's a little bit better, but there has to be some specifics behind that. You can't just say, hey, exercise more, lose weight. How much weight do you want to lose? And plus, weight, unless you are morbidly obese, is kind of a bad measure. It's a bad measure. It's a bad specific. It's a bad metric to look at because you could, like in my case, I've always kind of been on the thin side because I keep a very, very high activity level. And so if I just said, I want to gain weight, well, shoot, I could gain weight. I could just eat Reese's and donuts and, whatever. And I could gain weight. It wouldn't be the right kind of weight, but I could gain weight. But instead, I would like it to be muscle. I would like measurements, and we're going to go through that here in a little bit. But yeah, losing weight, you need to, like I said, unless you're, way overweight, that it's kind of a bad one because muscle also weighs more than fat. And so if you are weight training, if you're strength training and you're putting on muscle, well, when you step on that scale, you might not be seeing much of a difference, but your body composition is changing quite a bit. And so there has to be more than just, lose weight. Maybe there's some body composition there. Maybe it's lose fat, gain muscle, so there can be, and how do you measure those? You're going to have to figure out specifics to measure those too. So those are the first 2: exercise more, lose weight. 3, get organized. What the heck does that mean? I'm starting to see why 46% of the people are, only 46% of the people actually end up achieving the resolutions because these are all kind of bad. Get organized. How do you do that? Learn a new skill or a hobby. Again, those of you that are watching this on YouTube can see the incredulous looks on my face as we're going through these. I'm like, learn a new skill or a hobby. What? I mean, what is the skill? What is the hobby? And then you're going to have to take steps to put that in place. Yeah. Live life to the fullest. That's going to be a different answer for everyone. Me and my wife, living life to the fullest for me might be taking on a few more adventures, which she has absolutely no want whatsoever to do. Like I remember several times when we've vacationed down in Mexico, there's an excursion that you can swim with whale sharks. Now, when you hear the word shark, don't be alarmed because whale sharks are more like whales than they are sharks. All right. They eat plankton. That's it. They don't eat humans. They eat plankton. but they're about the size of a bus. And so having something the size of a bus right next to you, while I find that pretty darn cool, Missy's deathly afraid of that. She is not going to be swimming with whale sharks. And so to me, that could be living life to the fullest. And that is absolutely not even on her radar. So save money, save more money, spend less money. That's number 6. And so that we finally get to the first financial resolution that's on here. Save more money, spend less money. And then we've got quit smoking. So that you can measure that one very easily. I'm smoking. No, I'm not smoking. You can measure that one. Spend more time with family and friends. Again, how are you going to do that? What is more time? You're going to have to lay out specific steps, like maybe once a month, you're going to have a dinner with a different friend, or once every other week, however you want to do it. You're going to have a dinner with someone, and whether that's a dinner at your house, their house, or out, at a restaurant, you make the choice, right? So you got to specify that. Travel more, read more. Again, more is not a good enough metric. So let's go through some of these here, guys. The first way to really help you get a handle on your New Year's resolutions or your goals is, first off, mentally prepare for that change. First off, you can kind of see, what did you set out to do last year? Were you one of the 46% that achieved their goals, or are you part of the 54 that did not? And so where did you make progress? Where did you not make progress, and why? Stay positive. Try not to make really, really big changes as well. So when I say don't make big changes, so let's say, once again, let's use the weight one, because that one was, way up top there. Exercise more, lose weight, all that kind of stuff, right? So let's say you weigh 300 pounds and you say to yourself, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. Well, that's a huge goal. Huge goal. Maybe you say, you know what, I want to lose 10 pounds by March, or 10 pounds by February, whatever the number is, right? So you do that, and then you're like, okay, so that's not bad. And you're going to reset that goal. Tell yourself every time you hit that quarterly goal of 10 pounds, 10 pounds, 10 pounds, or whatever it is, then you're going to reset the goal for the following quarter. And so then what you can start doing is like, all right, you can start Googling and get some math involved with this. How are you going to lose weight? How much how much weight do you need to lose per month, per quarter, or whatever? And then figure out, well, that just means I need to have a caloric deficit of X every single day. And once I've had a caloric deficit of, X more calories every single week, well, that's probably going to equate to 1 pound of fat loss. And I mean, there are articles and studies done all over the place where you literally can figure that out, so that you can chunk it down into small, bite-sized, manageable pieces, right? So that way you're not looking at that 100-pound number and it's freaking you out, right? So change should be gradual, yet build on those smaller changes and allow a little room for error. So let's say your goal might be 10 pounds by the end of February. Well, what if you made it to 9? Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up, because most people will look at that 1 pound that you missed, that you didn't get, and forget about the 9 pounds that you lost. All right. That's progress. That is good progress. Set a goal that motivates you. All right. They should be your goals, guys. Don't set a goal because you think someone else wants you to set that goal, whether that's a spouse, a boss, peer pressure, something like that. It's got to be something that is motivating to you, or it's probably going to be dead on arrival. Right. So to stop for a second there, I want to go over a couple here that we've got, because the next one is limit the resolutions to a manageable amount. So that goes back to the whole, don't set it for 100 pounds and set it for 10 pounds by March or whatever. And then just reset that every single time so you can bust that out. Or if you know that it is 100 pounds by the end of the year, well, then, once again, using the same math that I was talking about and looking at the articles and the studies to find out how much of a caloric deficit you need to be in to lose a pound of fat, then you can figure out how much you need to eat, and you can get really scientific with it and do this. And, some people don't like doing that. They hear me doing that. They hear me saying that already, and they're kind of checking out. But this is how you have results. If you want to change something in your life, you got to change something in your life. You can't just continue to do the same things and expect a different result. That is the definition of insanity. So limit your resolutions to a manageable amount. So I'm going to go over a few things here. Now, the easiest for me is setting business goals. right? Because that's a major part of my life. It's what I do all day, every day, pretty much. And so that is easy for me. And for us, if we have a certain amount of, assets that we want to be managing or households that we want to be helping, then, we have to figure that out. And it all comes down to, I go to a lot of different training events. I still consult with a lot of financial advisors, and we get a lot of input on how we should be doing things or how we could be doing things from people that are doing, a lot more business than us. Maybe they've been around for 30 years in the business. And so they've got a little, more gray in the beard than myself and a little bit more wisdom. And so we learn from them. And it all really comes down to, the number of first appointments. And so if I had a huge, huge goal, let's just create something ridiculous. Let's just say $100 million of new assets in 1 year is what we wanted to start managing. And it's like, all right, well, what kind of activity level do I have to have? How many people do I talk to before someone becomes a client? What's the average client? There's ways of whittling that down. How many meetings do you have to have with someone, or how many meetings do you have to have with different people that they're looking at your firm and deciding whether or not they want to use you as an advisor? How many of those do you have to talk to before one of them becomes a client? So you get your percentages there. You get how many people do I have to talk to in order to, hit that with the averages. And then you can really figure out, all right, well, this is how many meetings I need to have for the entire year. Well, that means this is how many I need to have for each month. This is how many I need to have each week. So we took a huge unmanageable goal, like lose 100 pounds in 1 year. And we've whittled that down to what do we do every single week. And if I wanted to, I could even bust that down every single day. But at this point, we don't have to do that. We can just go, this is what we do. This is what we need on average every single week. And if we hit that goal, there's a pretty darn good chance we're going to hit the yearly goal. So if we hit the weekly goal, we hit the yearly goal. So when you chunk it down, those little goals have to lead you to that big goal. So that's one of them. There's different profit margins. There's different, return on investments. There's different returns that I would like to keep for my clients as well as metrics. And so we got that. We just closed on a new office in Topeka. And so we bought a building. We've been renting in Topeka since, I think, 2017. Our headquarters has always been Lawrence, and we've had an office in Topeka as well. So those are my clients in Topeka. We're getting a new office. We closed on it the 13th. We're still getting it ready. So if you happen to have any visits with us between now and like the next few weeks, bear with us. It will look better because right now we just still haven't got it all organized, and it is big enough that we're going to have tenants in there as well. So we're going to take up a portion of the building, and then there's going to be others that are going to take up the rest of it. So pretty big deal there, and looking forward to that. And there's that. And, some of our client events, we're getting back this year. I feel, hopefully, knock wood, to being able to see you guys on a much more regular basis. And so I can't just say more client events is my goal. We literally have our calendar laid out to where each month we know what kind of events we're going to have, whether those are, seminar speaking events or whether they are client events, because we want to see you guys more often than just the annual review. And we want to, get to know you on a regular basis or more than just a business basis. And so so we want to make sure to do that. And like I said, it's not just more, we have them specifically set up. And what we're doing, I've got Jasmine is going to be sending out I believe a magnet that you can put on your refrigerator that's got all of our dates right now. We tried doing that for 2020. Obviously, that didn't happen. Really didn't have anything set up for 2021 because it was still kind of a flow over from 2020. But we feel like in 2022, knock wood again, that we might actually be able to schedule those and have them. Novel idea, right? All right. And so, in finance, those are some of my goals. I have a goal to save a specific amount of money this year, not just save more. It's a specific amount. And so that's how we do that. And then that could be like, all right, so then that means I have to save X amount every month or every quarter. It's being a business owner, you don't get a steady paycheck, right? So it's how much, you might have to average it out. Maybe it was more this quarter and less next quarter, more the quarter after that. So it's just kind of an average out to what it is. Again, being flexible. I've got some fitness goals too, guys. So those of you that know me or spent any time with me, or if you go back to some of my first podcasts, you know that exercise is a big part of my life. I have a home gym. Also have a membership as well, but most of my working out is done at home. And I'm also a black belt in Taekwondo, so I love martial arts. And so fitness goals are not just, in my case, I want to actually gain a little bit more weight. The heaviest I've ever been is 215 pounds. Right now, I'm sitting at about 195. When I started intermittent fasting, I was actually able to get down to 175 pounds. Now, at 6'5", that is, in my opinion, too lean. When I saw a picture of me one point when I was playing some racquetball with some friends, I was like, oh my gosh, who is Skeletor? I was too thin, way too thin. So right now I'm sitting at about 190, 195, and I would like to get up to at least 205, but I want to maintain my 32 waist in my pants. I don't want to have to go out and buy new pants. And so that means I've got very specific measurements that I want to keep. And some people might find this being a little, I don't know if vain would be the right word, but I actually Googled what the measurements for like the perfect male body would be. And luckily they're actually based on height. So you could actually have percentages based on your height. To give you an example, what they consider as the perfect male, like stomach circumference, it's between like 44 and 47% of your height. And so that means if I'm 6'5", then I am 77 inches. And so 44 to 47% of 77 inches is what my waist at the navel, the waist of the navel, that's what the circumference should be. And then they base your chest off of a percentage of that. It should be 10 to 12 inches bigger than whatever your waist is. And then you've got measurements for your biceps, for your thighs, for your calves, for your what else? Oh, your shoulders. You know, so they've got all kinds of different measurements based off of all of that. And one is really funny. I find this one being one of the most surprising for a lot of people is they say that your biceps should be the same circumference as your neck. Yeah, biceps should be the same circumference of your neck. And when people look at someone's neck, they're like, "Oh, there's no way." But yeah, it's that. Yeah, my biceps are the same circumference as my neck, and I still, when I look at my neck and I look at my arms, I'm thinking to myself, "There's no way." But every single time it still comes up that way. So those are just some of the things. So those are very measurable. I know right now, if I want to put an inch more on my chest and take an inch off of my waist, well, I know what I need to be doing. I know where I need to focus. And so that's specific in measurement for you, or measurable for you. Also, I have another goal that involves martial arts because Tennyson, my son, he's 8 years old now. He normally doesn't really get to see me going after these goals. You know, I can put these goals down, I can talk to him about them, but then, you know, he goes to school, I go to work. He doesn't see me trying to hit these goals all year. So he's not really, you know, long time ago when it was more of an agricultural type of a environment and an economy, you know, we were all working right alongside our dads. You know, we're working right alongside our family. It was literally a family business. And so you start learning a lot of things when you are around your family for that amount of time. And now we've kind of gotten away from that. You know, they go off one way, we go off another way. There's that, a lot of that gets lost. And so we want to try to create opportunity to help them see us set goals and not even maybe hit them, but at least strive, do the things that we're supposed to do in order to hit those goals. And, you know, it's okay if we do fail, because then they can see us handle that failure. How do we handle that failure? And that's modeling. That's going to teach them how they should handle failure. Should they look at it and think to themselves, "Oh, woe is me, I'm a horrible person because I couldn't hit that goal"? Or instead of looking at it as a reflection of who you are, just look at it as an event. It was an event that you can learn from. If I end up not, so the goal that I have is the Sunflower State Games are in July this year in Topeka. And there's a martial arts division. And of course, you've got age categories, weight categories, and stuff like that. My goal is to win my age and weight category. And so the problem with that, though, is the timing is going to have to be just right, because we've got a trip planned in July as well. And part of the dates of the Sunflower State Games, they run up against the time that we're going to be gone in vacation. So if the martial arts tournaments actually happen at the first part of when they've got those games scheduled, we'll be able to go. But if it's in the latter half of when they're scheduled, then we're going to be on vacation. So I might have to look at a a different tournament in that case. So I don't want to just get rid of winning a tournament. It might just have to be a different tournament in this case. So that would be it. And I like the Sunflower State Games because the rules for the martial arts are a little bit different than the rules for straight up Taekwondo, which is what I've got my black belt in. And so that's why I would like to do that, is because I would like to win with some different rules as well. So hopefully that's helping understand how, like, the thought process that's going along to help us hit these New Year's resolutions. 3, limit these resolutions to a manageable amount. And so write anything that you want to accomplish on, like, maybe a Post-it note. Maybe you've got to get a 3x5 cards. This is what I've got, 3x5 cards. Place it someplace you can see it. Maybe if you're working out and you have a home gym, maybe you're going to post a picture of what you want to look like, or maybe your favorite actor or actress, or put it on there. And that's like, that's what I'm going to look like. Right. And that's it. Right. So number 4, be specific. I've already talked about that. Some people use the acronym SMART when you set goals. So this is a really good acronym to use. SMART goals means specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive. And so I've mentioned that a few times, and we'll just go back to the business goals that I set. Specific, certain amount of, number of households that we help, number of amount of business that we bring in for the year. Measurable, well, that is definitely measurable. Attainable, I believe all of those are attainable because we have the activity level behind it with all of our events and speaking and marketing to be able to achieve those. Relevant, well, it's definitely relevant because business goals are set to be relevant to my business. And then time sensitive, a year. And then I have that chunk down to here's what we need to do every single week. All right. So that's how you achieve your goals. You do the work, you put in the work. Number 5, break up your big goals into smaller goals. We already talked about that. Number 6, write them down. I just mentioned that again. Write those goals down. They're easy to forget. And while that may seem silly, we're human and it's easy to get distracted. And all of a sudden, maybe June or July rolls around and you find them where you wrote them down, but you didn't put them in front of you. And you're like, oh, shoot, I'm nowhere near that right now. So writing down your resolutions helps you clarify what it is you want to achieve, forces you to make decisions and be precise in your own words. And it establishes intention, but action needs to be taken to achieve those. So having a written account of your goals is a constant reminder that action needs to be taken. As a matter of fact, that's a great lesson, is once you have written them down, then you can write down action steps in order to help you hit them. So for instance, if my action step, if my goal again was to get up to 205 pounds but keep my 32-inch waist, gain an inch on my chest, lose an inch on my waist, gain an inch on my thighs, whatever those goals are. Well, what's my action steps? Well, I know that at least maybe twice a week, I'm going to make sure to work out on my chest. I'll do cardio at least, once or twice a week. Because a lot of people, when they want to lose weight, they go crazy with cardio, but it's actually the amount of muscle mass that you have. Muscle is what increases your metabolism. If you increase your muscle mass, you will increase your metabolism. And so a lot of people don't realize this. Right now, I don't really do hardly any cardio. And I have a 4-pack, 5-pack, something like that. Maybe not quite the 6-pack, but yeah. So I'm still very thin. And I hardly do any cardio, but I have, according to my wife, I have a good amount of muscle mass. And so that helps constantly burn calories, even when you're not working out. So if you want to permanently increase your metabolism, you need to increase your muscle mass. And so doing cardio can definitely burn calories. Absolutely. But if you want to burn calories also when you're not working out, increase your muscle mass. So your cardio needs to be balanced with a good strength training regimen as well. So, and that was, share resolutions with others. That's a good one. So I shared that with Tennyson. So now he can help keep me accountable. And since it's something that we're, kind of wanting to do together, then that just makes it that much more fun. I'm bringing him in on what we're doing. So now as I'm going to the martial arts practices, he knows that I'm doing that because I set a specific goal. And so now he actually is getting to see me work towards a goal, not just set a goal and then, come back at the end of the year and say I achieved it or I didn't achieve it. He actually sees the work get put in. So sharing your resolutions with others is great because that can help you stay accountable. It could also help with motivation, finding some kindred spirits with similar goals. And now you're sharing your progress. And so if they hit a milestone, you're happy for them and, they're happy for you. So there's that. Meet regularly, share setbacks and progress, stay motivated on that. Number 8, automate where possible. And so you probably got technology in your pocket that can help you follow through with a lot of these resolutions. Automation in the form of maybe reminder apps, or you put something on your calendar that say 7 o'clock every morning or 6 o'clock every morning, whatever the time is that you're going to work out, you set that. And so it's going off every single time. It's saying work out. So you've automated that. Turn anything that you want to do into a habit and you will be much more successful. Google Calendar means you can set recurring meetings. Google Now is a personal assistant that provides information. You've got reminders on, if you've got an iPhone, you've got a reminder app on there. Boomerang, I think, is another one for Gmail. Schedule reminders to yourself. There's also a lot of apps that have like to-do lists and task management apps that have the ability to schedule reminders and milestones. There's Asana, Trello, Todoist, Microsoft To Do, OmniFocus, Things. Yeah, that's actually an app. It's just called Things, right? So a lot of those. Review your resolutions, or in my case, goals. And what I'm advising you to do is make them goals, not resolutions. Review them regularly. So whether that's, like I said, put them up in some place where you can see them. So if you've got them up on your mirror in your bathroom, so you can see those all the time. So if you have them maybe on a vision board or one of those, not dart boards, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, cork boards. There we go, cork boards. Set them up on there, so you can see them regularly. That way, whether you're doing them or not. And reward yourself. This one's not in there, right? But reward yourself. And so that it may be crazy to think that, but I had to learn this the hard way, because I am of the type of personality that can just put my head down and go. And even when I achieve a goal, it's just like, awesome, got it. All right, what's the next one? So I don't even bask in the glory of actually hitting the goal. I'm just right on to the next goal. And you do that enough times, you're going to get burnt out, because then it's like, well, why are you even doing any of this if you don't take time to enjoy what you've actually accomplished? And so when you hit those little milestones, reward yourself. And I'm even going to go out on a limb and say, even if your goal is to like lose weight and you hit a milestone, friggin' A, go have a donut, reward yourself. It's like, don't have 20 donuts, or don't have a donut, for every meal, but reward yourself with a donut. It's like, that's not going to derail you. Matter of fact, there's a lot of diets that say you need to have cheat days. Like when I do intermittent fasting, Saturday is fatter day. That's when I can eat whatever the heck I want. It doesn't matter. And so you got to have rewards like that. You've got to have the ability to not be so regimented that you burn out. Right. So we're all human. We know this. It's like, we're not robots. We're human. So that's it. And finally, guys, number 10, if you get off track, don't worry about it. Get back on. Just don't beat yourself up about it. Realize once again, hey, we're human. Get back on track if you fall off, right? Skipping a task is not failure. Missing a goal by 10% or is not complete failure either. Like I said, if your goal is to lose 100 pounds by the end of the year, and then you chunk that down into little bitty pieces and you hit it a few times, but you miss it, and you're only 95 pounds down for the end of the year. Oh my gosh, you're 95% of the way there. You just lost 95 pounds. That's my wife. You lost the equivalent of my wife in weight in that year. But since you didn't hit those extra 5 pounds, are you going to beat yourself up? No, you're 95% of the way where you wanted to be. That is progress. Think about that for the next year as well, because everything compounds on itself. 2 years, you're a completely different person by doing that. A moment of weakness is meaningless in the grand scheme of things, guys. So finishing a task late is also not complete failure. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. We give other people far too much grace, and sometimes we don't even give ourselves enough grace. So that's it, guys. So if some of you want to go, there's a article that I got this from. It's goskills.com. And it goes a little bit more in depth than what I was able to go through even. See if I got any other ones here that I want to go over. I don't think I pretty much went over the main ones that I had set and that I'm looking to get. You can even go categorically if you want to. Like maybe you've got some faith goals, family goals, fitness goals, friends, fun, finances, right? So it's like kind of keep it in a theme of like an F, and you can kind of hit about all of the categories that are out there. And maybe, right now with our church, we're going through a men's fraternity, which is basically coming up with a vision for manhood. So we've got so many different versions of what society thinks manhood really should be. And so it's like 24 weeks that we're going through this. And so by the end of those 24 weeks, we're supposed to have some type of an idea of what our vision for our life and for like really manhood. And if we have any other little men in our lives, like sons and stuff, and how to raise them correctly as well. So that's another goal. Finish that and get that vision set. So guys, let's hit 2022 running. Let's do this. Whatever goals you have, share them with me. I want to hear. I talked about a couple clients of mine that hit 50 marathons in all 50 states that they ran together. That's a goal. That's a great goal because it's also very measurable, right? And you can take easy action steps to hit that, so that's great. And so I want to hear about your goals. Ask Nate at retirementrescueradio.com. Email those in because you know what? Sharing them with others is one of those steps that we talked about. And so then at some of these client events that we're having all year, I can ask you, are you hitting it? Like you want to lose the 50 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever it is? Where are you? How much have you lost so far? Oh, you haven't worked out as much as you thought. Hey, don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just get a plan to get back on track. That's it. So yeah, a lot of fun. So that's it, guys. New Year's resolutions, or as I like to call them, New Year's goals, and go out and kick butt, guys. Let's look forward to a phenomenal 2022. All right. Take care.